Oh, yeah! This is no other than the Remix Morning Show! Right here on Black Power Media, in case you didn't know. And we got a great one lined up for you today. Yes, yes. Thank y'all for coming to Women's Wednesday right here on the Remix Morning Show. Now, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, but let me introduce you to the ladies first. And I'm not talking about the song. Jackie Lukeman, Lucretia Williams, Ricky Ryan. Yeah, what's good, ladies?
Hey,
Good morning.
hey, peace. Good morning. Good
Peace.
morning.
Yes.
Man, it's looking beautiful today.
Thank you.
Oh,
wait,
you.
wait. Today?
Today, especially since me and Jackie coordinating, you know what I'm saying, with our red on, and Ricky with her red locks, and
They're pink.
what's your locks?
Yes. I'm going to argue that all the time.
So everybody
I support
keeps saying,
you.
huh? Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
yes, I also support that. Mhm.
All right. How was our weekend?
Long. I was at the UNET conference in Minnesota. So the United Anti-War Committee.
United National Anti-War
Committee, yeah,
Coalition.
they had a conference with all of these peace groups and organizations. I was on 3 separate panels. 2 of them were back to back, so I spoke for 3 hours consecutively.
Woo.
Yeah, and then the next day I was on a panel as well. But yeah, I got to talk about Cop City. Renee was able to zoom in for that and talk about the map. I talked about the Zone of Peace campaign that we launched last year that's ongoing and getting bigger. And then I talked about imperialism in Africa, the Global Fragilities Act, and the expansion of AFRICOM, what's happening in the Sahel. So it was a lot of talking from
I
me,
was about to say, you just chatting.
Uh-huh.
a
Chatting it
lot.
up.
But yeah, I'm back now. Still more talking.
Right?
Great. What about you, Lucretia?
It was good. It's a pretty chill weekend. I had a friend of mine come in from out of town to visit New York for the first time. So that was cool to catch up with them. I hadn't seen them in like 4 years. So that was nice.
And if you didn't peep the first song I played this morning, Native New Yorker by Odyssey. All right, nice. All right, and Jackie Lukeman, how was your weekend?
It was busy. I did a really fun thing. I went to meet a potential new doggy on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I had some comrades come into town for some meetings on Monday. So we hung out a little bit on Sunday night. And then yesterday was just meetings, or not yesterday. Monday was just meetings from 10 o'clock in the morning till like 2 in the afternoon. And we were just running. So it was a busy weekend, but
Good.
I was approved for my fur baby.
Oh,
Yay!
ain't that cute? And I know who else would probably think it would be cute for your fur baby. Burn it down, Kim.
Hey, morning.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, Jacqueline, tell us about this canine. Well, I already know it's a bully breed because I can't see you. You don't strike me as little dog people.
No, I don't do little dogs. I can't, because what that dog gonna do to protect
Well.
me? What? Bark? Yip?
Yeah, pretty much.
Nip at a toe? I can
True.
pick it up and toss it at somebody.
We need
Probably.
teeth and asses. I can't have no dog that's good that can easily be punted, right? Like
Exactly.
just punt my security across the room as he's breaking into the house. So is it a pit? Is it a bull? Like
No, so this time I wanted to see if I could finally adopt the dog I've always wanted all my life, which is a Rottweiler.
Oh, wow.
Because they're kind of hard to come by, and unless you go to a breeder, and I did not want to pay a breeder for no. So I looked around, and there's this rescue called Hart, Hart, here in the Mid Atlantic area. I don't even think they're in DC or Maryland, but they drive these dogs from the kennels that they service, that they work at, to walk the dogs, and they bring them to the adoption events at like various local PetSmarts. So that's how I met. His name is Sirius now, but it won't be for but he's 7 years old.
Oh,
And he's one of the dogs that was in the kennel the longest.
yeah.
And he's such a good boy. He's Rottie mixed with Labrador Retriever. Yeah, so he's got the Rottweiler size, but the Retriever kind of energy. Like, no. Yeah, like the middle-aged Retriever kind of energy. It's like, yeah, this is great. I'm just going to lay here in the sun. So,
What shape head does he have? The rod head or the lab head?
He's got half and half. He's got a pointier nose than the typical Rottweiler. That is definitely the Labrador. But all of this up here, the forehead, now that's all Rottweiler.
So he's a mutt.
Yeah,
so
basically, but he's a mutt that I would not mess with.
Yo, so the three top black dogs is a Rottweiler, Pit Bull, and what would be the last? What was it, Great Dane? Or what was that?
I ain't never seen niggas
Not a
with
Great Dane. What's the black one? The
Doberman Pinscher.
Doberman Pinscher.
Doberman.
No, used to be. That used to be the black dog.
That was the 80s black dog.
Yeah, that was the 80s black dog.
Shepherd, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I was like, what happened to German Shepherd?
Okay,
Yeah.
those are the three top black dogs.
I've been seeing a lot of cane corsos lately.
Oh, I love Cane Corsos. Yes. That's. Should I ever get another dog? That would be my.
Ricky, you don't fuck with dogs.
I don't know shit about a dog.
What?
I don't know shit about a dog. I'm like, okay,
sounds great.
I had a golden retriever.
I was like, oh, that's nice.
That was the best time as I spent with dogs.
Oh man, listen, I cooked me a meal last night, y'all. Woo!
What
Let
you
me
cook,
tell
your
you.
doctor?
I made-
Some lentils,
Whoa.
lentils and beans with some sprouts.
Actually, I would. Go ahead. No, continue, please. What else y'all got?
Let's see.
No,
Some ginger and turmeric and the lentils and beans and sprouts. What else did you have? So you had some mixed greens, salad,
some cube tofu.
Right.
Continue. No, actually, I wanted to do soul food cookout. So I did some cornbread. I made some greens. I chopped up the onions with the garlic in there, and I sliced the greens up real nice, made it look like fancy. And then I did some baked beans, and I did some what else I do? And I did some sauteed mushrooms. Joints was banging, yo. Oh my god! When it's banging, when you start thinking about how much you go price your plate. Like if I was to sell this plate. Oh yeah, it'd have been $20 or more.
20.
Oh, my God.
Dang. And no beef.
$20 a plate for some size, ear doctor.
That ain't. Please, you ever go to a vegan restaurant? You know the prices in there.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly. So they
Lucretia was in my head. She said, "Where is the smoked turkey necks in them greens?" And
I was waiting for. I mean, I would have even accepted smoked turkey. I mean, come on.
I had the portobello mushroom sauteed. That was great.
But they're not in the. Okay.
And the greens, you season the greens without all that. Man, let me tell you. And you don't cook them too long, so you don't take all the nutrients out of them. You steam them for a bit, not too long. Anyway, I'll teach you about how to.
We had crunchy greens. Is that
granola greens? Yeah.
How to Eat to Live by Ear Doctor coming
Oh, there you
soon.
go.
Volume 2.
Here come Dr. Sebi, ear doctor.
Right.
Well, anyway, this week has been a theme on battles and stuff like that. But I wanted to bring forth, like, for today's theme, we had Zora Nilsson, and we had
Yeah.
Who?
Zora,
What's her
Who that,
name?
who that is?
Zora, and we had
First name
we had
basis.
we had Langston. So we was talking about these two, and I was wondering from y'all, like with them, they worked on a play together, and it wound up not working out. And the name of that play, I think, was what was it? Mule Bone. So they was part of the Harlem Renaissance. They worked on a play Mule Bone together, wind up having beef about it, copyright things, and then they split up and stopped being cool at all. Now, when it comes to working with another sister, it's always been a myth that women can't work together because the pettiness. In y'all experience, how has it been with working with another sister or another brother, or is it just a person? Has it been hard, easy? Why is all y'all holding your face?
I
I just think that's an interesting segue from
Yeah,
yeah, because I
into how y'all feel. Well, I don't know. The history that I know of with Zora and Langston, I don't know that they never spoke again, but I do know that there was some high tensions. I know for sure she didn't speak to Richard Wright. We can have a conversation about what Richard Wright did to her, but I don't think that they were as contentious as people make them to be. Because Langston Hughes, he has a autobiography, I Wander as I Wonder, or I Wonder as I Wander, and he talks about a lot of these things, his relationships with a lot of these people. I know that they had the same exact benefactor, and she cut them off at the same time. So I don't know if that had anything to do with the play, but I don't think that they had a real contentious relationship. But for me personally, I spoke about this on Jackie's show when we on for women's what was it? Women's Month, I think. We talked about
I think so.
Yeah, me and Onye. And I expressed that I don't really have those particular issues in terms of like working together. But I don't allow for those kind of issues either. But there is, I think working with people, you work with people. So there's going to be times where you're like annoyed by something because people have their peopleness. But I don't think it necessarily stops the work being done. I think an actual conflict would have to be the issue. But I think for the most part, there's not a lot of pettiness within the Citywide Alliance or within the region. And when there is, we do our best to like stomp that out, get rid of that, work through that. So it hasn't been as contentious as it might have been had we not had like a structure or accountability processes.
So dealing with radio like Kim and Jackie, have y'all ever worked with another sister before? I know y'all work with mostly like probably guys when it comes to radio.
I haven't worked with another woman while I was at Sputnik. I did when I was at the Real News. That's not radio, but it's same kind of outlet. I used to think like that when I was younger, like when I was in the corporate world, that Black women are hard to work with because they're so classist and but truth be told, I mean, and that is true to some Black women in corporate America. There is that class issue. But I've worked with plenty of men who are difficult just because they're men, and so, I came to realize that no, it's not individual people. It's not even a group of people. It's really how people behave to other people in this system to like get ahead of other people. I think that's the problem, and people don't realize that they are mistreating other people in order to climb that ladder, or they do realize and they don't care because they want to climb the
They
ladder.
want that number one spot.
And no, I think that's the conflict. I learned it's not can't work with women, can't work with men. That's it.
What about you, Kim?
I mean, I've worked with everybody, unfortunately, and I'd say that adversarially, I've had the fewest amount of conflicts with Black women. I probably had the most amount of conflicts with white women and Black men.
Mm.
And I think for Black men, and it's not been every situation, but there has been some headbutting. But a lot of times it's the brothers in some of these situations trying to play top Negro, right? Like he's like, no, I'm boss's number one nigga, and okay, cool. And now you snitching, and now you and now you want to tell. I mean, I've just had issues with some brothers on the job. I know with white folks working with white people, you better take your notes, make sure you got your documentation in order, because they don't like that.
Yep.
Right.
Email everything.
Mhm.
Email everything.
White folks
Lucretia,
don't like it when you keep notes on them, though.
Yeah,
Definitely keeping notes on you.
Mhm.
Lucretia, you had to deal with any of this?
I would say I had petty all around, and I would second that group when there's another Black person in your group, and if you're in that corporate structure, they'll try to like pit the Black people. It's like, do you want to take that response, or do you want to take that response if we're in the same, room together listening to some BS? But yeah, I would say most of my conflicts are with white women and white men, in my workplaces. So
Okay. All right. So yeah, the reason I'm asking the question for the people wondering in the chat room is because this is Women's Wednesday, and it's a question that deals with sometimes the myth that women can't work together. And on the screen we see right now we got 4 women that's working together. So sounds like it might
But
be a
who
myth.
creates these myths, men?
Hmm.
And it was funny when you asked, the myth that women can't work together. I know this is not your myth, Air Doctor. This is a well propagated
Thank
piece
you.
of gendered nonsense. But this notion that women are petty and men aren't, like since
I was going to
when?
ask, yeah, Doctor, how has your experience been with working
Yeah.
Working
men?
with other men or
Mhm.
women or what?
Mhm.
No,
Everybody.
other
I've-
men.
I've
The
used-
same question you asked us on
Yeah.
reverse.
I always usually work with fellas. It's just like that. I don't
And
know.
that's the way it
I mean, it
is.
is because it's like, when it came to the pizza place, I had 3 business partners. When it came to Black Power Media, 3 business partners. When it comes to a lot of different business ventures I have, is brothers I deal with. So I haven't dealt with doing business with sisters like that. So for me, I really wouldn't know.
All positive experiences.
Oh no, not at all. I think it goes really to the the people. It's not a gender thing. It's more the person you're dealing with, other than the gender. So, yeah. But from my experience, I just dealt with brothers. Well, that's what it is.
Okay, now let's talk about what it's like to work with Ear Doctor. Ear Doctor.
Okay.
Mm.
Hold on, let me get my notes.
All right, is it break time?
No, come on.
We going on break. We got time to get to the news. I think it is.
I enjoy working with Ear Doctor because Ear Doctor brings a standard of professionalism that I am not always capable of bringing myself. And because he's bringing that Scorpio energy, he's trying to be on the shit, but then it feels like he whipping us sometimes. So then I don't like that part.
I like being on time. It's a pet peeve when people ain't on time with me.
Hey.
My motto is get there early, you on time. Get there on time, you late. All right. With that said,
Was you in the army, nigga? What?
Right, I'm like,
That's a line from a movie that you almost remember.
Like,
that is not a line from a movie. That line was passed down from my dad,
I'm like,
who was
Where'd
a
your
military
dad hear
man
it
in the Air Force. Yes.
Mm. See, look
So-
at that. I
no,
knew
like slave driver shit.
Slave driver, the tables have turned. Yes. All right. Well, listen, y'all. Y'all are tuned into the Remix Morning Show. This is Women's Wednesday. We about to rock out. We're gonna take our first break and come right back with some more news and all that right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. God damn, I ain't had a button.
If you want my loving,
Really do. What's good, everybody? Welcome out to the Remix Morning Show. Go by the name of the Air Doctor, and thank y'all for tuning in. Very much thank y'all for tuning in to another day. You could be anywhere, but you are right here. So if you are right here, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button so you can know all the dope shows that's coming down the pipeline right here on Black Power Media. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there, see footage that's rare, and also you can drop some change right here so we can pay out these sisters that's on the screen. You know what I mean? All right, boom. Who we going to talk about real quick? Let's put a little bit more of this in the background. We need a little background music for this. Who we going to talk about today? Let's talk about, I might get this name wrong, but I'm not French. Janet Dubois. That's right. Let me talk about Janet Dubois. Straight out of possibly Brooklyn, New York, or Philly. We don't know for sure, but she was an actress and a singer. When I talk about singing, I don't know if y'all know that she sung this song right here.
well, we're moving on up to the side.
That's right. We talking about the theme song for Good Times. I mean, the Jeffersons. That's right. Moving on up. She co-wrote and sang on that joint right there. But she's known best for being on Good Times as Willona Woods. That's right. The Mama Penny. Well, the new Mama Penny. You know, the Mama Penny brought that extension cord out. But anyway, that's besides the point. Now, let me tell you about her. She started her career back in the 60s doing Broadway, small little plays here and there. She got to do The Raising of the Sun with Lou Gossett Jr., R.I.P. to that brother. Started doing that and then did some more acting in some movies. Did her big acting debut with what's his name? Sammy Davis Jr. Sammy Davis Jr. in the movie called A Man Called Adam. There's a bunch of people in that one. But she did that and then wound up doing some other plays. One play was called Diary of a Mad Housewife. I wonder if Tyler Perry looked at that and did his joint off of that. Who knows? But Norman Lear seen her doing these plays and said, come on over. She rocked out for like 5 years on Good Times. And you know, like the 5th season or something, this is when Esther left the scene and she came on and blew it up. Did it for a good year, then Esther came back. I don't know where Esther, how would mom leave and then come back? But that's a whole nother story. Anyway, that's what she did. She got married, had like 4 kids, and then later on in February 2020 had cardiac arrest, and she transitioned to the next place. Well, like I said, she's been in so many TV shows, so many movies. We talk about her first movie being in 1966, last movie in 2016, but all the shows she did, Love of Light, Sanford and Son, Good Times, Kojak, The Facts of Life, you name it, she's been in it. So big up to this sister, and yes, you can check her out musically or on the TV and movie screen. All right, with that said, let's get back to our ladies right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
I love you, baby. I love you.
Yeah.
Jeanette Dubois. What a talent. You didn't name her year of birth, Air Doctor. And the reason I point that out is because there was a lot of speculation about how old Jeanette Dubois actually was, because she was fine as all wine. She was sometimes cast to play characters significantly younger than her age, and she really kept her age, I think, a secret up until her passing. And it was speculated that she may have been the daughter of, I think, Cab Calloway, if I'm not mistaken. And she was always sort of a little, maybe not so totally forthcoming about whether or not, Cab Calloway was her dad. But I'm telling you, the Jeffersons theme song, name me a better theme song. Name me a better theme song. It doesn't exist.
Yes. When I
She's
read
doing
that, I
it.
was like, "What?" And then
What,
I was
Rick?
like, "Yes, that's her voice." The whole time, I was like, "Damn, that is Walona."
That's
I'm sorry.
Walona.
The Degrassi theme song does go up though.
But no,
We need
no.
you. We
Poor
need you to
baby.
relax.
No.
We need you to relax, Erica.
This is clearly a generational divide. This is the generational divide, y'all. The best theme song.
It's so black, that Jefferson's theme song. Like, it's everything about it. The hand claps, the syncopation, the breakdown, the fish don't fry
Fry
in
in
the
the
kitchen, and then
kitchen,
get down, the
bees
beans
don't
don't
burn
burn
on
on
the
the grill.
grill. I don't know what she said. Chop chop chone on the two-time chill, just to get up that hill.
Okay, what do you think? Fill that in. What do you think she said?
we got to
Cat,
Google
what did
that.
she say? What are the lyrics?
I know what she
Like,
said.
A whole lot of trying.
A whole lot of trying.
Get up that hill.
Woo! And then who come through with the harmony? Is that I sound like Sherman Hemsley come through with the harmony?
Just sound like he rolling the bass.
Yes,
Little
man.
fake falsetto. I'm moving on up.
Oh
my
man,
goodness.
that dope wow. And to be clear, Walona, wide is wide. I mean, the costuming, whoever was dressing Walona, whoever was doing wardrobe on Walona was fly every episode, baby.
Every single.
Those are my
one.
intros. Rhoda from the show and Winona.
Man. All right. Well, she always kept the guys' eyes wide open whenever Esther and what was it? Esther Rowe and James had company. So Florida. My bad. Florida Evans.
I mean, yes, I know who Esther was.
All right. Well, that is your artist appreciation spotlight. I'll catch you on the next break. Peace.
Thank you.
Good point. I was going to say that the Amen theme song was also very good.
I would agree.
That connection right there between the two gospel theme song.
Bliggity black. Turn on the light from heaven, Lord. Shine on me. Turn on the light from heaven, Lord. Shine on me. Shine on me. Someone coming to a solo. Who's coming in with the solo?
Shine on me.
Not the solo, man. Turn on the light.
I could add anime to the chat, but
Oh boy. Shall we slap the map, y'all?
What about give me a break? I sure deserve it. No.
No.
Wait, but Nell Carter did sing that though. Nell Carter did sing.
I know she did, but that wasn't the thing. Nope.
Hold on. Well, can I always nominate Johnny Mathis and Denise Williams for the Family Ties?
Yes, but see, you gonna do that and then shit on Degrassi, so I don't know.
Because I never seen Degrassi. Ricky Rod, I was born in 1978. I was born in the 70s. I ain't never seen no Degrassi.
Honey, I was born in the 60s. I couldn't tell you what channel it was on.
I knew it was on. Was it on PBS or some shit when it come on Saturdays?
Oh Lord.
I'm sorry. What was it, Nickelodeon? I'm sorry.
Damn, Jackie seen TV go from black and white to color.
Hey,
don't play with
bro.
Don't play with Jackie.
I was watching Arsenio on black and white. You better.
I think that might be true. No, that's not true. That's actually not true. But I was around before there was an internet. There you go.
All the greats were, Jackie. It's fine. Let's go ahead and slap the map here, Doctor. Bye-yow.
Yeah.
Bienvenidos a los miércoles de las mujeres. Estamos muy caliente esta mañana. It's like, me cop, stop playing. That's it. That's where it stops.
That's all.
That's as far as it goes. What's up, y'all? It's Women's Wednesdays, Remix Morning Show, Black Power Media. We got a full clip on deck today, boys and girls and non-binary folks. I hope you guys are enjoying Today is Wednesday, April the 11th, 2023. Happy solar eclipse week and all of those things. We got a stacked screen in front of you. Welcome to the show, everybody. Jacqueline Lukeman, Lucretia Williams, Ricky Ryan, Kim Brown, Doctor pushing the buttons in the cut, the remixers in the chat. We appreciate y'all showing up. Please give the video on the channel plenty of love, likes, thumbs up, super chats, if you will, because this Friday is a 15th check ish, somewhere in there. And some of y'all got some tax refunds. So I'm not just saying, I'm just saying. That's it. So anyway, we got some good news and stories and hopefully a couple of chuckles to get in for you guys today. So we appreciate y'all joining us and showing up. Ladies, is there any particular place on this map that we should and shall begin?
Yeah, I have some stories in the chat. So we go to Niger or Iran or
what's going on in Iran? Okay.
Well, the producer wants to know.
Hey, Doc.
We can begin to read a bit of it. Washington is working on ways to keep troops in African state. So I think a couple weeks ago, there was reports that the U.S. came to have a meeting in Niger, thought that they can get away with their typical U.S. gangsterism and bullying. And Niger said, you know what, you can go. And they asked them to get their coat and leave. And the U.S. is still there. Well, we've seen that also with Iraq, right? They've been asked to leave Iraq for countless years, and they're still there. And then we know also Niger, when they put out the French, they were a little slow to leave. So if we could read a bit of this. Jackie, if you could read it, because it's really tiny on my end.
All right. Washington working on way to keep troops in African state. Washington has not received a formal notice. Yes, they did.
They said this shit got lost in the mail. They said y'all sent it to the wrong email address. It bounced back.
Being told by the interim leader of the country, remove yourself from our country. That's your formal notice, but I'm pretty sure they also sent them the actual memo. But the U.S. says that hasn't received a formal notice from Niger's military government for the withdrawal of U.S. military personnel and civilian contractors. See it, remember, it's not always just the military, it's also the contractors that prop up the military. We'll talk about that on another day. The Assistant Secretary of Defense for International Security Affairs told the House Armed Services Committee on Thursday that the West African nation's authorities had announced the end of formal military ties with the U.S., but the Pentagon has received mixed signals about whether troops are no longer welcome. The Pentagon person said, quote, the self-identified government of Niger. Who else identifies their government but the people in the country? Has not asked or demanded that the United States military depart, the military liar claimed. He said they have assured us that American military forces are protected and they will take no action that would endanger them, end quote. Did he think that meant that they didn't want them to leave? Because I don't know about y'all, but I took that to mean, okay, if you mess around and stay, I'm going to try to keep y'all safe, but ain't no guarantees, buddy. So, that's just a matter of interpretations. But last Saturday, Niger's new rulers who came to power following a military transition in July announced they were canceling a defense pact that had allowed 1,000 American troops, including support personnel, to conduct intelligence gathering and counterterrorism operations in the country.
And there, Jackie, if you want.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really important to note that currently Niger has the largest U.S. drone base, but I also think it's a key drone base, air base, 201. And it plays a crucial role in AFRICOM's Africa strategy, obviously. But just a bit AFRICOM is the U.S. military command in Africa. It operates from 46 different types of bases and military operations through 53 out of the 54 countries, Eritrea being the only one exempt. Niger might be the next. And all of it, AFRICOM exists and has expanded drastically under Obama, even though it was established before him under Bush, but it expanded basically under the guise of fighting or curtailing terrorism. What's not discussed enough is the fact that after the fall of Libya, which NATO is responsible for, headed by the U.S., those quote unquote terrorists, there was a 500% increase throughout the Sahel because they just went westward. And that impacted what has happened in the Sahel over the last 10 years. And that's why we're seeing all these sort of mass movements erupt out of the Sahel because of particular conditions that have been forged by the presence of the US military and the French military. And what I think happened is that everybody was so caught up in the anti-French sentiments that they never really considered that the U.S. would be next. And I think that's a lot of what was raised, right? It's really cute that they want the French out, but what about the U.S.? What about the U.S.? Without really understanding, it's maybe possibly one thing at a time, right? It's probably easier to get rid of the French than it is to get rid of the U.S. And again, the AES is new. It's a new alliance. They're still trying to figure out how to conduct themselves. But Niger did declare that the U.S. military's deployment on its territory was illegal. So whether or not they claim that they have official official letters, they have been deemed illegal. So they do not want them there. And this was based on the sort of alleged retaliation from the U.S. delegation after that meeting, where they're insisting that the Niger's ties with Russia and Iran specifically are forging this sort of split between the U.S. So they're saying that they're being influenced by Russia and Iran, and that this declaration puts at risk. I talked about the largest drone base, but there's actually 3 drone bases and a CIA headquarters in Niger. So that puts it all at risk. And in addition to the 1,100, I think, civilian contractors that Jackie spoke of, that's mentioned in the article. So all of this really, the reason why the U.S. is not trying to leave is because I don't know if folks have been seeing online, there's now these opposition politicians in the AES. And there's a push from the U.S., particularly for a form of democracy, right? And we really have to really begin to talk about what is democracy even when they say it. Because what they want to do is force Niger into having a vote, force Mali into having another election, so that the politicians that they are funding currently could be propped up as legitimate to a transitional coup government. Because again, they're harping on the fact that these people were not voted in. If you've seen Akon's remarks about the support for the new Senegalese leader, a lot of it is like, well, at least he was voted in. So they're trying to make a bigger deal out of the transition without any recognition that this is what the people wanted. So they are trying to force a new election. And currently, right now, Niger is taking a stronghold that there will be no elections. I think Mali as well. They will not have any new elections, even though that was something that they promised the people, because it's clear that with the establishment of the Sahelian states, they are attempting to break it up. And Jackie, as you and I have learned when we went to Howard, listening to the State Department talk about the Global Fragilities Act, they are very determined to break up the Sahelian states by using the Western coastal countries like Togo, Benin, Ghana, Mozambique, etc.
Yeah, that was. I'm glad you mentioned that event at Howard, because when you were describing how NATO destroyed Libya, assassinated which one? Saddam Hussein.
Oh, Saddam.
And he no, I'm sorry. Muammar Gaddafi. I'm getting my coups mixed up. Muammar Gaddafi. When Gaddafi was the only thing that was keeping those warring factions of people at bay in that region for decades. And the United States goes in, assassinates him, And then all hell breaks loose because now the one person who knew how to negotiate and deal with these groups of people who didn't like each other and had a kind of a history of being at each other's throats, now he's gone. Now these folks are just all over the place, and the United States was not concerned about them when they were unleashed until they figured out a way that they could make money off of it and expand their hegemony, which is by saying, oh, we have to fight terrorism now, even though they were the ones who facilitated the 500% rise in terrorism in the region. And so the way U.S. foreign policy has destabilized Africa already, the region already. The Global Fragilities Act is really just the same policies with a different name. It's every other American government program that is supposed to help the continent, help them deal with terrorism, help them deal with, to stop chaos before it happens. They allegedly deployed this program in Haiti first. Haiti was the pilot program for this this thing that is supposed to deploy State Department, USAID, and NED factions into a region that's experienced chaos and do some stuff that lessens the chaos and brings peace and avoids war. But Haiti is about to be invaded by the U.S., led by Kenya as their lapdogs, as the black face of imperialism. So is that the result of the Global Fragilities Act that they deployed in Haiti? And now they're talking about deploying a failed and obviously failed and not even true about what they're saying they want program. But now they're going to deploy that program that didn't meet any of the goals the program is supposed to meet in Haiti. They're going to deploy it to other countries? No. This Global Fragilities Act, it's the same policy as whatever they called the invasion of Iraq. It's the same policy as whatever they called the destruction of Libya. This is nothing new. And the countries this program is deployed in, watch how chaos increases as this program is deployed in those countries. It's a mess.
I have a question. I didn't hear about the Global Rigidities Act, so could I hear more about that? And then my second question is with Senegal, I know that at least, I'm sure this might be still the case, the headquarters of the IMF and the World Bank were in Dakar. Do the Senegalese have a different fight in terms of getting those institutions out as opposed to also like government or military installations like in Niger?
Yeah, I think it's determined through the masses of the people. How we've seen the struggle, because Senegal has had uprisings and for the last 4 years. I want to say since 2019. They've obviously pushing for newer elections to get this man out. This, of course, was not the choice for the last election, but all of these people who were in opposition, I think, were arrested. So all of them are coming out of jail to some sort of popular support. I think right now, when we're observing Senegal, the same way we're kind of observing what's happening in Chad, in the sense where, again, I would refer to Diallo's uses of, the sort of optimistic, cautionary optimism, right? Because it's less known about the trajectory of the mass movement in France because it has taken on so many different faces just in the 4 years alone than there is, at least for me, around the Sahel. I do think that there is room because we're hearing rhetorically, right? But I'm always like, sometimes the rhetoric is just the rhetoric. And Bobby Wine was a very hard lesson for me on that. Because Bobby Wine was set to be some progressive for Uganda, and he basically was working with the State Department. Yeah, and calling for the removal of Maduro and siding with Juan Guaido. It was a mess. It was a mess. But from then, you know, you learn to be more critical and have more introspection and research who these people are. I do think that there's a spirit of anti-imperialism that is taking over the masses, especially because it's predominantly youth in Africa that we're seeing develop. But to how far that's going to go, it's determined by the organization happening on the ground. And I do think that Senegal is prime, but it is something that we have to watch and look at. And again, when we look at institutions that are not, I think the issue fundamentally is you can see France in every aspect of life in the Sahel, where you don't see the US and you don't see these other players. And that doesn't mean that they're not there. But when you're spending the franc and when your money is French and your grocery store is French and the language is French, and that is your immediate enemy. So I think for them, it's like step one, get France out of here. And then everything after that. But we would have to see what everything after that looks like, right? Because it might be a case where it's get France out of here so we can get closer to the US. We don't know. But those are things that we would have to just observe for sure. And in terms of the Global Fragilities Act, that was started under the Trump administration in 2019 with bipartisan support, specifically from Karen Bass. She was a very big supporter of it. And the idea is to, the fragility part is to go into these fragile states for preventative actions and preventative measures. And that means establishing soft power institutions presented by NED, which is paid for and funded by the USAID and things like that. So they are going in. And if we remember Cuba, if we remember what happened in Ukraine, if we remember Hong Kong, the USAID is not no innocent institution. When you find the USAID, you find a color revolution. So they're more, I guess, less what we would say covert policies and acts. But when I spoke about the Global Fragilities Act over the weekend, one of the things that I like to do, especially when we're making these connections between domestic and global imperialism, is highlight that much of the language of the Global Fragilities Act sounds very similar to the Safer America's plan. Now, if you read the Biden administration's Safer America's plan, it is all about preventative measures, right? Which includes over occupation of our neighborhoods, which includes things like the crime bill being rolled out, which includes things like the cop cities forming out, because preventative measures when we talk about the training and things like that. So we could see, if we can make those connections, we could see just how the function of the Global Fragilities Act is actually going to play out and what that would look like in the continent, just by observing how it played out in Haiti. But I do think it's really important when we look at acts that are already and plans that are already existing here and look at how they compare to what's happening there. And I say that with Haiti all the time in terms of the gangs, right? We hear all about these gangs the same way we're hearing all about the car theft. And all of this is pretext for more occupation. So we just have to be real clear about the language and the narratives that they're using, because it's really pretty much as counterparts, it's not dissimilar at all.
So I did a little bit of research for an incident, a historical incident that happened in DC for my show. It's called, the incident was called the Snow Riots of 1835. And in the aftermath of the Snow Riots, the DC City Council in 1835 or 1836 passed an ordinance that 2 or more free Black people could not congregate outside on the corner lest they be detained. And I said, that's the DC crime bill of 2024. Isn't that amazing, the way that all of that manages to stay on brand? But as it pertains to what you're talking about, like when the US state as a mouthpiece start talking about we need to help other countries formulate and establish their democracy, insofar as these conversations come up domestically amongst regular Black people, because I amongst regular working class Black folks, I don't really hear a lot of foreign policy conversations. Like we barely getting something about Israel and Palestine from my folks. But I think it's important that we try to propagandize them, because I won't say they always, but sometimes our Black folks will have the position of, yeah, America is the the global policeman. Yeah, we do have to intervene in this. No, we have to tell our folks, number one, we do not have to intervene. We don't have to look far in recent history to see that the United States is not the one to be trying to implement or execute democracy abroad, as we see the still catastrophic failings of whatever happened in Iraq and Afghanistan. Those places are no more a democracy now than they were 25 years ago. And the continued failures, policy failures, state failures, and American interference in Haiti, like we ain't the ones to be implementing what the idealistic idea of democracy is. So I think we have to continue to propagandize our folks to tell them, number one, nigga, we don't even have democracy here. So, I mean, how are we going to be giving democracy to other places? And more importantly, as so much as the Biden administration continues to try to interfere in Africa's dealings, we have to tell our people that, no, we need to push back against that.
Yeah. And I do think it helps connecting folks to what's actually happening. To them, because in most instances, our people know as much about what's happening with the Global Fragilities Act as they know about the State for America's plan, right? They're not really invested in what policies are happening, what policies are functioning, especially under the Biden administration, right? Because it's all sold as a good thing, whether or not they investigate it or not, right? When we think about the end of democracy, quote unquote, as they're propagating this issue with Trump and the criminalization of Trump to make a larger point about saving democracy, they are implementing their own ideas of what democratic processes are throughout the entire global South, even within our own neighborhoods, right? Because we don't really have no democratic process about how our neighborhoods are conducted. They don't give a shit about the referendum happening in Atlanta. You know, they don't give a shit about these petitions. Not about the ceasefire calls. You know, our own democracy and democratic processes are being put to face value. And I do think this post-Obama era has really done a number on our folks, because we come from a people who have never tied themselves to the U.S., let alone war. Post Obama, everybody's like, yeah, we gotta go, and especially pertaining to the Middle East, like people hate Iran, they don't even know shit about Iran, right? They hate Syria, they don't know shit about Syria. In the same way they can feel a way about this quote unquote war, right? And how they're driving it, because this is how it's been dictated to them, because there's no real investment. The same way when what's happening in Libya, the conversation was Gaddafi's killing his own people, and Gaddafi was giving Viagra to soldiers, and look at how evil Gaddafi is. It was all of these narratives and nobody stopped and thought about, one, Libya is the most thriving nation on the African continent. There was the idea of separating the economy, building up an economy. There was all of these conversations. Now we can make political criticisms of Gaddafi, sure, why not? Everybody's free to do so, but objectively, what was being done and what was being planned was significant. It was significant enough to shake NATO up. And I think that's things that has to be reasserted. I think our Black Africans here have to get reconnected to the anti-war movement. To Jackie's point, earlier last year, when it was that whatever that march was supposed to be, that backfired in everybody's face.
That taught me a lot, definitely.
You get me riled up again.
Yes, they were able to make those particular statements and be as bold as they were, because where are the Black people in the anti-war movement, right? We're not as visible as we once were, and we need to be, so that we're not maligned in these coalitions and these, when they're doing these, we need to have unity for unity's sake bullshit, right? So we're not maligned. And we are always going to be, so much as we're not entering that arena and claiming space. Like, we have always innately been anti-war as a people, and we need to reclaim that.
It's just very weird how we keep repeating history. It's just, and it's easy. It's easy to do when you live in a country that basically spends one half of its budget killing other people around the world, and the other half of its budget, it seems like, convincing us that they're not killing people around the world. And if we go hungry and starve and be homeless and die, all the better. So they have less people to spend. It's just that there's no there's no easy way to fix this deep indoctrination of our people other than to really just talk to our people about these issues when we hear our people and we know them and comfortable with them, and this is on a personal level. I'm not even talking about actual organizing in a a formation, but just on a personal level. If you know that something is untrue and it is connected to your well-being as a person, as a human being, and as an African, and you got family members and friends who have these, backward pro imperialist ideas, trust me, all of us did at some point. I mean, talk to them about, shoot, repeat the exact words we say on this show. If you don't know what to say, you can always go to Black Alliance for Peace and whip out a fact sheet, download some, give people that we got QR codes on the website. It's individually our job to spread the knowledge that we receive. Once we become conscious, Kwame Ture said that our job is to help make the unconscious conscious. That's what we're supposed to do. But there is a higher level of that we have to get better at in order to win. And that is being involved in formal organization that are anti-imperialist, anti-war, we anti-capitalist. We have to be an organization, because we can talk to, each one, teach one, that's fine. But we're not fighting an individual. Like, we're not fighting Barack Obama. We're not fighting Joe Biden. We're not fighting Donald Trump. We are fighting a system, and the system is global. They are well connected, and they are very, very organized, always have been. So you can't defeat an organized entity being unorganized, or just thinking that you can fight the system chaotically, I guess, with your own little sword all by yourself, trying to topple the windmill. You're not going to topple the system by yourself. Get an organization.
Right. And to that point, there's something we discussed in Cuba. I think that organizations need to be better strategically at working together around these issues, so that we can sort of propagate our own messages and narratives, right? Because if it's Black Power Media and BAR and Hood Communists and all these like publications saying the same thing or agitating around the same thing, that goes further than just Black Alliance for Peace saying it, or just only being mentioned on Black Power Media, So there has to be a way that we work as media entities on the left to sort of propagate these things in a more strategic way, so that our people could become more aware of what's happening geopolitically. Because right now it's pretty siloed.
Yeah, it is very, and I have to correct myself. The entire quote from Kwame Ture is, the job of the conscious is to make the unconscious conscious of their unconscious behavior. Whew, man, it's a lot. But, I could not say it as lyrically as Kwame Ture could, but you know what I mean.
Well, speaking of lyrically and doing a lot, like to bring back the Air Doctor.
What are you doing? Why is he on? What are you doing?
I'm in Jamaica. I'm having a good time. I had to travel down here. I had to do an artist spotlight, so I had to come talk to some people.
You
to get
DJing on the little boat thing?
Yeah,
we on a little
Fancy.
raft right here.
Yeah. DJing for all.
Don't fall off, Selector.
Gotcha.
What river we on, Air Doctor? Oh, we got some messages. What's up?
Hey,
Abel Ayele. Yes, becoming a YouTube member. And we got Lucy sending in $10. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, stay hydrated. Breathe deeply. Is she spitting bars?
Bars.
And rest as well as possible. This is all stuff I say. Love to the best morning.
It came with $10. So
yeah, right.
That's not all the stuff you say.
Always tell y'all, hydrate, rest, get your breathing going. You know what I mean?
That's your $10 to be real incentive to do it. So if you want to also add that in, I won't be obliged.
And ponder. Don't just stay in the box. Think outside of the box. Ponder.
Mm.
All right, so y'all are cooking, and that's no shot to women being in the kitchen cooking. Y'all cooking right now, so we're gonna do.
It
We're
was
gonna take a
okay
quick
until
break.
you said
It
anything.
really
Like,
was.
Man,
I mean, it's not like you said,
Right.
"Hey,
Right.
one of y'all need to go make me a sandwich." It's not. I mean, we didn't.
I
It
mean,
was not.
handle the word cooking. It's okay.
I don't know. I
Dear
don't know.
doctor, have you become a little bit hyper vigilant? Are we too hard on
Little.
you?
No, not at all. It's
Mm.
Zinzabel. Zinzabel
Yes, I'm
started
gonna
all
say
this
you chat.
in the chat room. She always getting on me, so I just be messing with her, man. I be having fun with her.
I guess.
You know.
You be messing with you. Zanzibar gets under your skin, ear
Oh my
doctor. She
God, I
gets
love it.
you.
I know.
Shook.
She loves me. She got a
Shook.
crush.
Oh,
All right. So what we gonna do
Zanzibar,
is,
you gonna take that?
I mean,
He said you hard on him because you want him, Zanzibar. You hear that?
Need a break. Take
It's too
me off.
hot in here.
I mean, you
Take
have
me
to
off
sleep
the
here,
screen.
doctor. You
Come
went ahead
on.
and did it on your own.
Oh, you
Shall I take a
two
break?
in here.
Oh my goodness. All right, we're gonna take a break right here on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go.
Hey, let's go.
Kill you with it. I'm gonna kill you with it.
What's good, everybody? Welcome out, welcome out, welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show, and this is Black Power Media, in case you didn't know. And yeah, go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Go to patreon.com, become a member over there. Get footage that's red. Drop something right here. We love it. And share like you care. That's not much, we ask. All right, so I had to take a trip down here to the islands of Jamaica and pull up a sister that is known to be a legend in what you call lovers rock. Who am I talking about? Well, let me pull up a picture of her so you can know. We are talking about Deborah Glasgow. Whoa. I've never seen Deborah, but I'm seeing it like that today. Ooh, she got ahead on her. She ahead of her time. Anyway, let me talk about her real quick. She is straight from London, England. She has Guyanese parents. She's known for doing music from the 70s to the 90s. She actually only did one album, and she began doing singles. One of her biggest known singles and a couple singles she's done is with Shabba Ranks. This one right here, Champion Lover, which was released back in like 1980s and shit. But then they came back and redid it for Mr. Loverman album in 1990. But she also did this joint right here.
As good as the best of them, as bad as the
Another one with Shabba.
So don't test me.
Yes. So she recorded her first single in 1965, which is Falling in Love. She was known as Debbie G at that time. And she did that music back there and then wound up getting a recording contract. And like I said, she did the Champion Lover joint. Now, Champion Lover, like I said, she did that, but she actually transitioned and passed away at the age of like 28. And when she did this song, Champion Lover, Mr. Loverman, which it was redone and called, Shabba had to go find another sister to sing the hook. And right after he found this is when the song became a worldwide hit. So she kind of missed her chance, but she is known as the lovers rock queen when it comes to that. Yeah, so that one album she got is that big. So go check her out if you don't know nothing about her. Find out, pull her up, and listen to the music. All right, with that said, let's go ahead and get back to the Remix Morning crew. Now we do.
So don't test me. You better move over, yeah.
He's not the best, no. He's not the worst, no. I am the patient, come, you'll be the nurse.
Yeah,
Dear doctor, isn't she Guyanese?
I just said that.
No.
I said her parents are from, but she's from London, England. You wasn't listening?
I didn't hear that part, no. I heard
Oh,
the
okay.
London part.
Okay.
I heard the botch of the name, but I didn't hear that.
Oh, so you checked me and got unchecked. Got you.
Yeah.
That's this Wednesday. What
Ear doctor.
you doing?
Anyway, so yeah, two of my favorite joints right there. So big up to that sister. 28, a young age to do something and then check out. So that was wild.
Get
But
money.
yeah,
I
go get
saw.
it.
I heard the Get Money remix. You could be as good as the
Yeah,
best of
best of
them,
them.
but
Yeah,
as
so they redid
bad
that.
as the worst.
But don't test
Don't
me.
just
That's
All right.
actually a quality remix because certain people by the name of Sean Combs are not on that at all. Not at
Nope,
all.
no Diddy.
There's no Diddy on the Get Money remix.
Word. All right. Well,
Mm-mm.
that is your artist spotlight. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, ear doctor. Appreciate you. How you
Hey.
feeling? What we looking like in this chat?
Ooh.
In this here chat? The chat in here? They not in here.
Yeah, we got a super chat from CS, $50.
Yo,
Dear
yeah.
doctor and ladies, thank you. Thank you, CS. We appreciate you so much.
thank you so much.
Mhm.
Appreciate it. Remixers, please engage with the content, like, share, subscribe, all the algorithmic things. We are
Mhm.
over 38K strong on the channel.
Woo!
Over strong out
Yeah.
here. So let's keep that strengths up. We got Jackie, Ricky, Lucretia, KB. Where should we go to next, ladies?
Lucretia, you got a story. You want to go to
Sure. Should I pull it up? I
Dear
totally
Doctor?
can.
I will do it.
What is this doing?
Because our producer, I don't know where he went.
I put it there.
Where did you put it?
It's in the private
In the
chat. I
chat.
can pull it up.
Oh, no problem. I didn't see it. I was too busy producing.
Oh shit.
Wow.
Uh-uh.
Oh, wait a
Wow.
minute. This is
That's a
New York.
part.
This
All
is
right, you
this
know
is
what? I'm just
this is
gonna.
New
I'm just
this is
gonna.
New York Times.
Foggy
I
today.
I can't pull it up. It's New York Times. They asking for all this extra
Yeah, it's
information.
paywall.
Okay,
See, Lucretia.
But here,
got
let
it.
me see.
I
Damn.
got it. Okay.
I have a thing.
So, Arizona has an abortion ban basically about to come into effect. Arizona's highest court upheld an 1864 law that bans nearly all abortions. The court put its ruling on hold for the moment and sent the matter back to a lower court. So, what is this 1864 law? The law was on the books before Arizona received statehood. Outlaws abortion from the moment of conception, except
Shit.
when necessary to save the life of the mother. It makes no exceptions for rape or incest. It bans all type of abortions, including medical abortions. So until now, abortion has been legal in Arizona up to 15 weeks until this potential enforcing of the law. So what does the ruling say? On April 9th, the Supreme Court ruled in a 4-2 decision that the pre-statehood law was now enforceable. The court said that because there was no federal right to abortion since Roe v. Wade was overturned, um, Arizona could, in effect, enforce this near total ban. But it's not in effect yet. If the organizers are able to get it on the ballot in November, it's possible that it could be overturned.
If.
They need if and
Mhm.
if they've already met the signature threshold, they need, I believe, 400,000. I don't want to quote the wrong thing. In order to get the ballot, to get it on the ballot for November, and it's kind of up in the air at the moment, but they could get a total ban soon. There's a 14-day pause from this ruling, and then another 45 days. So, like by May, it could be enforced. So,
Shit. Next month? It could be enforced
also
as early as next month, Lucretia?
as in May.
Yeah.
Yeah. Florida also is on its way to having a total ban also.
Lucretia, I know Air Doctor told you back away from your mic, but if you can come closer to it, because when you talk, when you move, it goes in and out. So
Oh, okay.
they can't hear you really well.
Yeah, that's is there, last time I checked, maybe I missed it, but is there suddenly a medical scientifically proven moment of conception
Mm.
that you
Not science, Jackie, please.
You mean it's the feeling or
Right,
something?
this is
I
about
don't know.
vibes.
And then it's
I mean, I'm figuring the answer's got to be in science, because if people are doing this to say that they're doing it to uphold some type of religious or moral law, it's not a baby until its first breath. That's
Burn.
literally in the book. It's in the book. It's not until life begins at first breath. That's what's in the Bible. So I figured if they were trying to do it because of religion, what religion? Because that's not what it says. So science has to have a consensus on this moment of conception thing, because God didn't. I don't know, confused. Has a
Well, I think my
confused.
question is, what does this mean for contraceptives? Are they now illegal? Because if they're talking about from the moment of conception, and then you
Mhm.
have the morning after pill,
Mhm.
are you now getting criminalized for using the morning after pill? How does that work?
Yes.
How do they determine that you've used it? I mean, how do they even determine when you've conceived, right? Because I watch enough maternity court, right? And just because
It's
the pound is up does that
right.
make it the exact day? We always have a roundabout day. Like on this week.
Are you talking about Lauren Lake's Paternity Court, which is Emmy award-winning
Yes,
programming?
great program. My mother and I
Yes.
watch it every day at 11. That is our
They took it off in DC, and I was very
It's on
sad.
Bounce. It's on Bounce TV.
Shout out to Lauren Lake.
Oh, that's where it is.
Lauren Lake doing excellent work. She's doing great work.
Now, Mr. Martin, you came in here with that sob story about how you didn't know all of these women. Mr. Martin, you are the father. Now, you get yourself out there at court and you go see that woman at that window and stop paying that child support. Come up in my court with this foolishness. Case dismissed.
But even those calendars are not accurate. When they be like, this is when I conceived, it's always like a roundabout time.
Right,
How do
right.
people even know, like, this exact day? I mean, I had an idea when I did, but that's neither here nor there. But, but I just think it's not foolproof.
No. And these are not the people to be making these decisions. Judges, legislators should not be making medical-based decisions and putting them into law that impacts people's real lives, not just the pregnant person, but in some cases it could impact the child as well. The would-be born child now who's going to be forced into being born into the state of Arizona. This ruling coming on the heels of what Trump said he would do if he's president. He backed away from a 15-week federal ban and instead said that he would leave it up to the states, which again, not a good response, because half the states have basically outlawed abortion or made the threshold for abortion so unreasonably low that most people are going to be forced into bearing children in this current condition. So this is just more scary. Like, if you thought that the shit couldn't get scarier at 10 weeks, at 6-week ban, no, here come Arizona saying no. As soon as sperm meets egg, as soon as a zygote has been created, that's it. No abortion for you. And so what's that going to mean for abortion funds, people that are helping do mutual aid for pregnant folks in Arizona? I know there are abortion funds out there, right? So now, is that activity about to be criminalized as well?
Probably under
Seems
the
like the
RICO
doctors
statute.
are put on notice, the mutual aid organizers are put on notice.
Yep. And they'll
Anyone
probably,
with prescribing you any pills. Yeah. We're
And
currently
what
at 21 states banning.
And what
Did Arizona have any of those restrictions, or were they just an abortion pro-abortion state? Like, did they have any restrictions before this? Because I know over the past decade we've seen Mississippi got it, we've seen Alabama, and like those kind of southern states, but I'm not too familiar with what's happening in the Southwest region, right? But I do know in terms of New Mexico and Arizona and the treatment of indigenous peoples, particularly, they do have these sort of restrictions, but I don't know if it's been outright named in law. because they did have a politician I seen on Morning Joe this morning. She's talking about how she herself has had an abortion. She's from Arizona, and she's leading this charge now to get it overturned. And she said, we have the signatures behind us, and come November, this will be, abortion will be the law of the land. And I have two thoughts about that, because the Biden campaign is obviously, they're going to capitalize off this moment. The last couple of weeks, they've been the pro-abortion campaign, right? There was a lot of language around abortion rights and things like that, and making it law of the land. Should he be elected again? So then my question is, well, if we have to wait till November, can't you just do it now? Like, why can't you just do it now? Like, what is the holdup with doing it now? Because I guess I would have to go back to my my back in the days where I had to go back to learning about the three branches. I thought I understood the three branches, but clearly not, because he has veto power in some instances and no veto power, no power at all in other instances. And then Trump has all this power and Biden has no power. Obama never had any power. Bush had all the power. Like, you
Bush
see,
had all the power.
it goes back and forth. And for a party that has always made their claim that abortion is not a hardline issue, and they run on that. I mean, even when they overturned Roe v. Wade, Nancy Pelosi and Clyburn were in Texas pushing that anti-abortion of candidate who's a Democrat. As Roe v. Wade was happening, as they're sending you all these messages, please give us some money. Don't you see what's happening?
We got to put Henry Cuellar in there, who's also going to vote for an abortion ban. Yes.
Right. So to what extent is this actually being dealt with? Because I think, to your question, right, we obviously have to turn more inward into organizations and these mutual aid things. But I don't think this is a politically, I don't see it panning out well for anyone, because the Democrat, like, why wouldn't they right now? This is a campaign for them to say, look at what and Trump said he would do this, and look, they're all running behind this. And obviously Trump said he's going to do that because Trump doesn't want the responsibility of having to make that choice. He doesn't really have an opinion on abortion.
It's like, you can figure it out. I don't really care. Like,
yes, but if he giving the power to the state absolves him from a lot of it,
exactly,
it also helps the base. So it's a win-win for him either way. But in terms of the Democrats, they have no kind of plan other than to use this as a campaign. And in November, we're not going to see much different, because they're going to talk about the courts. Well, we didn't pick the courts, and if y'all would have just voted for the judges, like, that's the game they keep playing. If y'all would have voted correctly, you didn't vote the right way.
But all of this was happening, under Biden. So it's like, and then when they lose come November, it's going to be, more of the same.
Yo, you blacks, you didn't vote for us because of the Palestinians.
Right.
That's why we lost.
Right. Because you don't like genocide.
Right. But see, I said all the pro-Palestinian folks is gonna experience what we experience every election cycle now. You know what I mean? Like, y'all come on in. There's plenty of room over here on the bench for the blame bench when the Democrats fail to capture in November. There's lots of room over here on the blame bench. So y'all come over here. We got plenty of seats.
It's Joe Biden is I mean, I know that people don't understand the system like they thought they did, you said, Ricky, but it's like, can we at least stop saying things like lesser of two evils? Stop saying that. Stop saying that, because I mean, the more people I see who say that they're willing to vote for a form of evil in a time when we're seeing that form of evil play out in a literal genocide. And people are like, yeah, I know genocide is bad. That's terrible. But either that doesn't have anything to do with us over here, but I'm now all of a sudden people know how to say things. Well, I'm not a one issue voter, so I can't just vote again.
They're running that one on MSNBC. I mean, they're bringing all the bipartisan players together so that we can all see this is really how you do politics, guys. These are just minor differences, but we have to save democracy. It's like it's really upsetting me and my homegirls, honestly.
I can't stand it. You know what I mean? I don't see how you do it, Ricky. Like I sometimes I go over my mother's house and she has on Al Sharpton and MSNBC, and I get so little exposure to it on a regular basis. When I'm around it, it's very jarring. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like this shit. Like, I mean, yeah, I appreciate the contradictions of your politics versus your viewing habits. Let me just say that.
I'm not the viewer.
Oh,
My mother is, so it's perpetually playing all day long.
Right.
You know, so I would wake up to Morning Joe. I'm cleaning the kitchen to Lawrence. Last call. You know, I'm making dinner. Joy is in the background, but I think it's useful, and to the extent, you know, I'm always like, God, turn this shit off. Like, but I think it's useful because I do get to in real time push back. I know it frustrates my mother sometimes, but then she can also not. Like I told her months ago, I said they're gonna make this about Netanyahu, and then she's like, "They did, yeah." They
had to concede that you were right.
Because you see those kind of things happening. This is not like the U.S. has one playbook. Even today, now they're so genuinely concerned about the over 40,000 people who have been killed and martyred in Palestine. But the hostages. Let us never forget the hostages, y'all. We can never forget October 7th. Yes, genocide is bad. But the hostages. Sorry. And this is every morning. This is me every morning. And that's just like, you know, you have to hear those kind of things. I remember when the proxy war had broke out and they were denying the Maidan coup on MSNBC. And they're like, yeah, people on the left who are saying, like, we just made up the coup. We just made it up. Only for them to months later then say, okay, this is what the trajectory of things that are happening now that they're trying to push out Zelensky and figure out another direction. But it's all useful because we have DVR. I will rewind and record so fast.
Save
it, right?
What?
And I will record those clips because they are saying these things, and I think it's really important to use that as the propaganda. But I'm not gonna lie, it is frustrating, and me and my mother do have our little battles. She, you know, I can't do Nicole Wallace. We have to compromise around 4 o'clock. We have to pick something that we can watch collectively at 4 because I cannot do Nicole Wallace. That voice, I can't.
So gross. It's so gross to see former White House spokespeople in media positions. I'm like, I don't know which job, when were you auditioning for what job? Were you auditioning for the MSNBC job while you were at the White House podium, or were you in? It's so gross and disgusting, in such a tenet of the fascism that we live under. You know what I mean? That these states spokespeople, former, current, whatever, are now the ones giving us the political analysis. Get the fuck out my face with that shit, man. Anyway, y'all, check y'all emails. Jacqueline Luke Bond, I sent you an email.
Okay, I'm gonna, but first, we want to thank Alex.
Hey,
Alex.
Alex.
How you doing?
Sorry.
$19.99. Stupid question. No question is stupid. Do you think Democrats? Huh?
That depends. This is not a stupid question.
That's true. Okay, yeah, I got to. Yeah, I got to get out of my teaching. No, there are some questions that in real life that are stupid. And if you ask them, I'm going to tell you. But this is not a stupid question. He says, "Do you think Democrats really care about losing the election when at the end of the day they will all fall in line to corporate interests anyway?" Care. I think care on the level that this is how I see it. These people on Capitol Hill and the corporate bosses who control them are not normal human beings. They don't think like you and I do. They seriously do not. They don't know what it is like to live a regular working class life, work regular working class job, have to rely on that paycheck to keep a roof over their head. They don't know anything about that. And they don't care. Because all they want is to be professional politicians, basically until they die, because they get all these free benefits from us, the working class, the actual working class, that they don't ever do anything for, no matter how much we vote for them, because they use the Republicans as a scare tactic. So it's not that I think the Democrats they care about losing the election because it would upset them, right? Because they lost. People who only want power don't like losing power.
Yeah.
Even if they have to lose power to like the other wing of their cabal, the other wing of their class, they all have the same class interests. So I think the Democrats they don't want to lose because they don't want to cede power for 4 years to Trump. It's not even really the Republican Party at this point with it. It's all Trump. They do not want 4 more years of him. But they're not going to not get paid. you understand? When they're not in power. It is this psychopathic lust for saying, I am the one who holds the levers. And I'm getting all this extra free money from these stupid people who keep not realizing that they are the ones feeding and providing health care and benefits to my family while we're sitting here holding the levers of power and we're not ever going to do a doggone thing for them. I think that's how it is. I think we need to understand that these politicians are psychopaths. The CEOs of the corporations, psychopaths. All these tech bros with, all this money. You can make this too if you just invest in Krista. Psychopaths. You cannot see people who barely have enough money to keep a roof over their heads and clothes on their behind and look at them and say, all you need to do is invest in some crypto. Only a psycho would do that. So I think we have to look at these people as they do what they do intentionally. We need to stop trying to figure out why they do what they do, because they are not like us. They do not think like us. They honestly do not care about us. Their priorities are way different from ours. So I just don't even try to figure out why would they do such a thing. Yeah, they just want to.
Yeah, I do think though it is useful to maybe parse out why a thing is happening, right? Because when you listen to the rhetoric of the Democratic Party and then you see the policies of the Democratic Party, they are in complete opposition. And then when we look at when they're up for these years for the midterm elections. The midterm election years are always shaky because everything that they promised they've never done in the first 2 years. So now they're coming back to re-promise all of these things, but they're always with a fear that they understand it is a make or break situation. Which is why they throw their constituents under the bus, which is why there's no safety nets in DACA and all those things, because they are concerned with regaining that power. So abortion is never going to be a hardline issue. They're always going to throw their constituents clean under the bus while remaining the quote unquote party of pity, right? Because that is how they get, look, we're not like the Republicans. We have empathy for people. We believe that all people, all races, all genders, so they're able to
have the rainbow flag graphic and the Black Lives Matter flag graphic.
Dropping bombs down.
The Kente cloth for Juneteenth.
Right. All of this, and then policies, right, and then so push policies where they're maligning African states because they're not siding with the U.S. over Russia, or they're sanctioning all of the global South, or they're creating sanctions within our neighborhoods here, not adhering to the food deserts or the housing situation or education or none of it. But they're good at the narrative of, but we're not the Republicans. And they felt like that's all they've ever had to ride on, because it is all they've ever had to ride on. So I do think they are concerned with winning. They do not want a Trump presidency for what it means to sustaining what the concept of the U.S. is. Because he doesn't give a shit about NATO. He don't give a shit about none of these, none of it, right? And these are all strongholds and pillars of the U.S. where he's like, So now we're even hearing on this morning on Morning Joe, the military has stepped in and said, Trump presidency is no good for America. So you could see.
Oh man, wait.
They're all coming together to fearmonger.
So where do we
about
hide
this
while the
person.
elites
Right.
are fighting?
Y'all can come
What,
hide over in my
what
house.
do we
Tell 'em
do?
But
But
hold
they're
on,
all
I'm
dead.
here
That's
for
why they're
Trump.
insane.
When Trump bombs on NATO, is that not the funniest shit on earth, y'all? To hear the U.S. president talk shit like, yeah, these bums don't even pay their bills. Yeah, I hope Russia do attack y'all. I'm like, nigga, what?
Right. And the Democrats in the room are like,
Pulling shit like
uh,
a chopper saying right over Helsinki.
Girl
I'm like,
power.
oh,
Kamala Harris. Yeah.
oh my
No.
gosh. That's how I kind of want him to win, y'all. I can't even.
Kamala, are you high?
When Biden
Kamala,
was
she's
talking,
high, right?
Ceasefire for
when Biden was
6 more
talking
weeks.
about whatever meeting he had with President Xi in China,
Mhm.
Mhm.
going over it, and then he was like having like tough talk about the relations, and then they had the camera pan to Blinken, who's like,
Like, you were
like,
not supposed to say any of that. Shut up, you old man.
Blinken has been really stressed. He's been really racking up those freaking
right?
flyer
Those
miles
businesses,
flying
like,
back and
it's
forth.
all great now. The
Israel,
whole
right? The Zionist entity.
Hey,
I
and
mean,
when he
it's
come home, he can't get no peace because them pro-Palestinians outside his house on Cambridge Road and giving him and his family the business every day. Big up to them. Big up.
big up. Yeah, that's what I know that I always have this urge to like go support people protesting. So I'm always like, I wonder, do they need water? Do they need snacks? I'll take them snacks. But then I quick, I'm like, no, you're not supposed to know where they are. So just keep your snacks for the next BAP event and leave them kids alone to do what they do. They fine. So
You're doing it.
mhm.
Is
Hey,
it
can
your
we
doctor time?
what
It is there, doctor's time. Look at that. Your watch is working. I see you. All right,
It
so
is.
Yeah, let me
I
tell you
sense
about this
you.
Women Wednesday, and
Your
you're
energy.
you man.
the vibes you just brought in here are all wrong.
Mm,
Yeah, come
I
step that out.
suggest you step back out,
mm.
collect yourself, and return. Okay.
Align your chakras real quick, ear doctor. Do a sun salute. Do a sun salutation.
Mm-hmm.
Touch your toes. All right.
ladies,
Much better.
Hey.
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 your watches is working, so you know the time for me to come. What?
He just said the same shiesty shit, but nicer.
I collected everything. Hey, big up to Mayo Leak. $5. I
Thank
need
you.
Jackie and Ear Doctor
Oh.
to link for a metal hour. Rage Against the
Oh.
Machine, System of a Down,
Ooh.
Mud Vein.
Yes.
Okay, all right, I see you.
Yeah.
Zenzabel.
Zenze.
Zenzibel.
Ah,
$5. Say my name, Ear Doctor. Say your name. Say your name. My name. I said it. All right.
So rude.
a word.
Helpful harm. $1.99. You balling out. Share all tips, ladies. Vitamin C and parsley work. Okay.
Ear doctor, when Zenzabel put you in a full Nelson at the first live event,
Yes.
I'm not gonna help you,
I
man.
recorded on some real.
I'm watching.
I am.
You know Jezebel, because I'll be right there like this.
Yeah.
Oh, you ain't gonna help. You gonna be
Nope,
videotaping.
we could be.
Damn, Ricky. Oh man, where's the note? Where's the note? All right, let me go ahead and take a quick break because y'all are baking in here, man. Anyway, so let me get to a real quick break, and we gonna come right back right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Hey, sardines. Let's
Sardines, hey, and pork and beans. Let's do it like this. A quick remix on the remix. 1, 2, 3.
Tonight is the night that you make me your woman. Tonight is the night that you make me your woman. You said you'll be gentle with me, and I hope you will. I'm nervous and I'm trembling trying hard to relax, but I just can't keep still.
All right, let me take you back to 1974 with no other than Betty Wright dropping that off that Danger High Voltage album, which came out. And yes, that right there is Tonight's the Night. And also mixed with a little bit of, that's right, the Junkyard Band, which came out with The Word, Sardines, in 1986 on that Def Jam label. All right, so that is your remix on the remix right here. Now let's get back to the sisters on the Remix Morning Show. Let's go. I know you don't like go-go mashups, Kim. We get it.
I appreciate the effort, Doctor. I appreciate the effort. However, let me say this. So
you liked it though, Jackie. It looked like Jackie says she's about to like it. You about to say something, Jackie?
You liked it, Jackie?
No, I liked it. I love Betty Wright. And that song, that might be the cleanest song she has. Maybe. But that song is so steamy. Just the mashup with Junkyard, somehow it just made it even more like, ooh, this is illicit. I like it.
That's right. Before Cardi B's and Sukiana's and Sexy Reds, we had Betty Wright.
It was Betty Wright.
Yeah.
I want us to explore The Word by Junkyard Band, because Sardines. So that's two singles on that LP, Doctor. That you just played Sardines, and then there's The Word. It would be really. Let me talk to Jared Ball and the rest of the BPM. I would love for us to do a little mini doc on The Word, because it was a deeply political record, literally made by teenagers in DC in the 80s who fully understood what was going on. Reagan making bombs. And why they displaced the people out of Berry Farms? Because Reagan making bombs. And these was kids who made this record. And it's such a deep, very DC record, very 80s DC. I mean, it's an amazing song. We should explore it at some point in depth.
Okay.
They've been trying to oust people out of Berry Farms since the 80s.
Yeah,
they made they? Was it Andrew? No, it wasn't Andrews. What's down? Is it Bowling Air Force Base down there in Southeast DC, Jackie?
Yep. Yeah.
So they displaced people to make room for bowling, right?
Wow.
Well, no, bowling hasn't expanded. What they finally did was they and the city's been trying to get that land back, once gentrification really started taking off. And when did gentrification really start taking off? Around the end of the 80s, so people were the city finally won. The people of Berry Farms put up a fight for decades. I mean, and finally they were the city just held out. They really just held out. And finally they just kept fighting. They kept going to court and just pushing it back and back and back. There'd be wins on behalf of the tenant. They extended it, for several times until they just could not fight these developers anymore. So now Berry Farms is no more after, So a lot of years of trying to get rid of, basically that was the last
public housing.
I think there are a handful of public housing units in DC left, but it's not a lot.
Same with Baltimore. I think there's only about 3 left.
All right. Big up to the Junkyard Band and big up to Betty Wright. And Kim, I pulled your story up, so I'll let y'all finish getting to it. Peace.
Sweet.
Kim, before you start your story, can I just make a quick plug, because I know I'm going to forget because I'm looking at the time. Liberation Through Reading.
I got it.
Thank you. We in February we were able to go to Cuba and give some books out that were translated. We are trying to do that for the Sahel. So we talked about Niger today. If you would like to support, it's a $500 goal. I think we are $100 away from reaching goal. The link is right there, the bit.ly/donate Liberation Through Reading. These are translated books like The Bluest Eye, Hair Love, like books that we love. They're all in French. But in order to get a lot of these books, they're coming internationally. So we are trying to order them now so that they could be there in time for African Liberation Day. This is a contribution to Burkina Books. We love and support Burkina Books at the Thomas Sankara Center. So please, please, please donate to Liberation Through Reading. Again, it's bit.ly/donate-LTR. We're trying to get at least 30 books for their library. So these are books that the kids can take out, return, sit within the center and read, sit outside the center and read. But we do want to encourage more the chance to read more fictions. Books, because I, for one, especially fiction written by Black women, feel like it has been a turning point. Toni Morrison, especially, Paul Marshall, etc., Octavia Butler. So we even have Parables of the Sour in French. So please, please support. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's my marketing spiel.
Nice.
Oh, and
Good
follow
job.
Liberation Through Reading.
Is it possible? Can Jackie or Ear Doctor, can one of y'all drop the link in the BPM chat? Is that a possibility? Ear Doctor producing on
wouldn't
the
let
back
me.
end,
Mm.
perhaps just to help people get
Let
there
me
quick.
go over to my email. Okay, I got you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, Ricky. Ricky,
Okay.
I'm
Do you
looking
want the
for.
Spelman College one?
I'm sorry.
Do you want the Spelman College one?
Yeah, let's go ahead and go with Spelman College first. So
Oh.
read that out for the people, them, Jacqueline. S'il vous plaît.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I was already sharing. Well, that's interesting.
I told her
Oh,
I already
that's
had it
you?
up. Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
told her.
finally did your job.
I
That's
told her I had it up. I ain't got no link to what y'all was talking about.
It's in the private chat.
It's in the private chat,
Anyway,
Mr. Doctor.
listen, it's up.
See, listen, Ike.
Listen now.
Ike, please, Ike. Stop. I'm gonna sing the song, right, Ike? I'm
I
sorry.
remember Charlotte being this aggressive to his angels, but all right.
I mean, all the
Oh, boy.
anyway. Somebody read something, goddamn.
Okay. Okay, so this is an Instagram video from Spelman University. And they say, this is posted by the students, and they say that we Atlanta University Center students, faculty, and alumni disrupted a planned visit from Uzra Zeya, the Biden administration's Undersecretary of State for Civilian Security, Democracy, and Human Rights. Ooh, play it. Play that tape. Play that beautiful footage.
Yo, before you start the yapping, the pandering, and the gaslighting, everyone in this room and everyone watching needs to know that you and the people that you work for are not only supplying billion-dollar arms packages to kill Palestinians in Israel, but you are also sending arms to Antoine the rebels and Rwanda rebels in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, and you are also sending arms to rebels in Haiti to destabilize our country even further. We know that the only reason you came down here is to pander to black voters in Atlanta to get the black vote for the genocide Joe administration. And we're not going for that because we are familiar with the game. I'm gonna leave now, but everyone in this room needs to repeat after me. Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
Free, free Palestine!
I want us to big up all disruptions, right? Like, I appreciate that the undersecretary can't go nowhere if you're comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Let him go to Howard.
Huh?
They can. You can still on the State Department.
Damn, HU, y'all going for that? Damn, HU.
That was so wild.
Jackie and Ricky said the State Department could just walk up on Georgia Avenue or come in there and say whatever the fuck, and Howard students is gonna go for that. Y'all going for that, Howard?
They
But
did.
you have every voice and sing on the bells though at the top
Right.
of every hour. So
Mhm.
that's important.
Yeah, we did. We witnessed it. We saw it, and we were. That's our response. That was our response too. Like, damn, Howard, you're not just gonna let these murderers come up here and indoctrinate these African kids like this? Damn.
Damn, Howard. Hate to see it. So shout out to Spelman College and the AUC students who came in there and lauded up the thing versus the undersecretary. Lord, I didn't even know. Shout out to the kids for even knowing who the undersecretary was.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
I think a lot of these student groups have been doing a lot of good work in terms of organizing themselves, coming up with their own analysis around the situation, organizing these disruptions. Currently Black Underground, they did their disruption at the job fair because they were so restricted. Morgan wrote that letter and said, you can only protest in this one piece of square right here. Don't move past this square. So they took it upon themselves to move beyond the square and hit up the job fair. There's inevitably going to be some backlash behind that. But the fact is, a lot of these students know and are taking these risks. Columbia just suspended and dehoused 11 students. Vanderbilt just suspended some students. What is another one? I think it's Paloma. They just
have that clip.
Students.
I got that clip, Jackie. That's in the email. The Pomona College is posted by the People's City Council, where the Pomona College president, it sounded like she was talking to a bunch of fifth graders. It's like, oh, y'all in trouble. Every single one of y'all is in trouble.
Is this? Let's see. Is this the right? Okay, I see. Yeah, this is it. And all right.
So it's a thread.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
So scroll down to like whatever's the biggest text as the thread. I hate that Twitter does that when you send a link and it'll pop up as this really, really long thread. But yes, this is from People's City Council. Big up Richie Shajenko, always out there louding up the thing. But one of these is scroll down a little bit more, Jackie, because usually it's the one with the biggest text on it in the thread. How many link? I'm not sure.
It's it's only 2 posts, but there's this video from the city council, I guess. No. Oh yeah, okay. This is the video I think you're talking about from the president who's on the stairs.
Yes, madam.
Oh, that's a Black president. Oh,
Lord.
While they're getting that together, like and subscribe, y'all.
Okay. All right.
Excuse me?
Uh-oh.
This building is immediately subject to suspension. Harassment is following me with a camera. That is now clear. If you do not leave within the next 10 minutes, every student in this building is immediately suspended from this institution. If you are from Pomona, if you are from elsewhere, you immediately will be banned from this campus. Is that clear? 10 minutes. Excuse me? Everyone in this building is immediately subject to suspension.
Man,
can she be subject to suspension?
Sheesh, that was Miss Wilkerson yelling at the 7th grade class because somebody played that NWA tape aloud and dirty. Like, the way that she spoke to those students, those adult college students, I'm like, Jesus, it sounds like she's talking to a bunch of small children. Everybody's in trouble. If y'all don't get this shit up, if y'all don't clean this shit up in 10 minutes, everybody getting suspended. I said, oh God. Terrifying. Terrified.
I think this all though ultimately calls into question the actual validity of First Amendment rights and free speech and all of that, especially where it pertains to students. All of these students are getting, it's especially with the Columbia situation, these students have been dehoused. They have no home now. They have nowhere to go. And it's about 6 or 7 students. And there's no like, oh, how are we gonna fix that situation? It's like, no, you broke, so you gotta go. And there's no process either. They don't have due process. They just, now you're suspended. Like there's no warning, there's no anything. So fundamentally, students have no rights on these campuses, and they're coming to terms with that. Columbia University can do that, and there has still been no investigation for the skunk gas thing, where the IDF was able to come in and attack students. They have not investigated that yet. But they have suspended students on the guise of anti-Semitism. And now what they're saying too is that these disruptions are forms of violence in itself. Because the disruptions really are, especially when they're going viral, they're trying to position the disruptions as something else or something other than a free speech, or the right to free speech or airing their grievances. You see how that lady said, "You're recording me, and that's a direct attack." Like, you see, like
Right.
they
Like
are
that's
everyone's
harassment.
victimized, but nobody wants to put this on the floor. So what I know SJP student groups and a lot
Mhm.
of student groups now they're the referendum processes where they're like, look, we're going to take it to a vote now because clearly all of our words don't mean a thing. So people are being encouraged. And one of the things I learned when I was at UNAC is that student group, they talked about the repression from the Jewish Zionist students on their campus and how much money they put into opposition, right? Don't vote for that bill. Don't vote for divestment, da, 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 da. They said they had a van going around the town, around campus. They had all these flyers, but what they never did was put a QR code on so nobody could vote. So it wasn't a benefit that they spent thousands of dollars on propaganda so that people won't vote against the divestment. So people will vote against divestment, and then they didn't even do it right. So I thought that was interesting, but it shows to show how much of a struggle and activity is actually happening on these campuses, which is why I insist that these are sites of struggle. The same way I'm not a Howard student, but what the State Department going up there, well, I'm gonna be there too.
Exactly. Exactly. And the way that woman in the video was talking to those adult students, that's the way the dean of the Africana Studies department at Howard University talked to me when I stood up and made comments extremely critical but absolutely true of the State Department's history on the continent. And she wouldn't even let me finish my comment. She took the mic and she was just like, I think you were confused about what kind of event this is. This event is for the students to interact with their government. And I said, no, this event is public. It's for students, faculty, and the community. That's what it said. So I'm the community. I live in Washington, D.C. The State Department is here. I want to know what the State Department has to say too. And I've heard what they have to say, and I don't like it. So I would appreciate it if you would let me finish my question. No. I think we got the gist of what you were saying. Yep, that's the way she talked to me. But see, when you are an organization, if I were there by myself, it would have been hands. It would have been a throat. It would have been a punch right to the throat. Just like as soon as it was like, I don't think you understand. How you understand that?
No, we were all sitting there like, oh boy.
They were like, what?
Stand by. We don't know what's happening yet. And then after she did that with Jackie, she's like, does anyone else have any questions? And I was like, and the way this lady turned around and deep sighed, like,
Not you. Yeah. Oh no.
Guys, hold on. These bitches together. Y'all came together. Hold on.
Another one.
Yeah. It's all right, ma'am. I'm not about to be antagonistic. I just have a question.
The BAP contingent has all the questions.
I'm not about to be a question page. I just have a question.
That's that they did not answer, by the way. They did not answer or respond to either of our questions or respond. Nothing. They didn't. Not even the students who were up there doing their little presentations, thanking the State Department for introducing this program into their countries. And oh my God. Oh, but then a funny thing happened just a few days later. A few days later, we returned to the Howard University campus for a meeting that we set up with some of the students who are in organization. When we walk into the room, guess who is already in the room? The Dean of Africana Studies, who is the moderator of the State Department event. Miss, I'm taking the mic. You don't need to finish your question. So we all come in, and turns out one of our comrades knows her very well, to the point that it was like, hey, hugs, conversations, hugs, a lot of talking. And I'm on the other side of the room, like not wanting to I just stay over there. The person who's talking to her is like, where is Jackie? Because I am going to introduce Jackie to her. And I'm standing over there just like, nah, I'm just gonna leave this alone because I don't have anything positive to say. Exactly. So I find out after our meeting that instead of saying anything to me, she sees me come in with all these other people and this person that she knows. So she gets now that I was not the one to. So she, for some reason that it makes no sense unless she knew that she was wrong the way she treated me, because she then begins to explain to the person that she was talking to that the State Department does good things sometimes.
Mm-mm.
Never came over to me, apologized to me, said anything, nothing. But she's explaining to this other person, the State Department has, they have some really good programs and they do really good things sometimes. So we just like to expose our students to that. And and I overheard our comrade say to her, no, the State Department don't do nothing good. And I told you that before.
They do have some of the best collection of food trucks outside of the building at lunchtime.
They
That's true.
actually do. They absolutely do.
Impressive.
Around that what's that triangle building thing?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
They do.
Yeah,
There's lots of good food trucks outside the State Department come lunchtime.
You need a full stomach for genocide, I think.
And it's international fare, no less, right?
I just want to say they have a really good the Mexican one. I love the one over there, and they have it's not a sushi truck, but it's something like that. They do make sushi out of that, but it is good.
Indeed.
But yes, down with the State Department. Up with the food trucks.
All right, I see. So Air Doctor trying to get out of giving us a mix. I see what time it is. It's 9:57.
Come on.
Look at you. Kim is on time today. Well,
You know what I'm saying, I smoked again, Air Doctor. That's my new jump.
Superpower.
You know what I'm saying?
Look at that. Look at that.
Y'all
I like
do
it.
Adderall, I do cannabis raw. You know what I'm saying? So
Cannabinol.
cannabis.
All right. Before we get out of here, we got anything we need to check out, ladies?
No, donate to Liberation Through Reading, please. We are so close to reaching goal. It's really important endeavor. I would love to see it happen. So please, bit.ly/donate LTR.
All right. And big shout out to Raj Singh. $50. Shout out to Women's Wednesdays. Big up.
Raj, we want dinner. Thank you for your donation. Please take us out to dinner.
Look at that.
Raj, donate to Liberation Through Reading.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
Look,
Kim said you got to pay to play. I've heard that. All right. Well, listen.
It's not just, she did not say leave the money on the dresser. Damn.
Wow.
You don't even get to the dresser. You got to pay to play.
Oh my God, do the mix.
All right. What do I
mix
know?
us out, Air
Peace.
Doctor. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Remix Morning Show, Thursday morning, 8 a.m. Tune in. Thank you, ladies, for Women's Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Thank
Let's
you.
get it. All right. Here we go. Rock out. Right here, right now.
I've been eating whipped cream, having vivid dreams. Oh, you're facing to people on TV screen. You've been everywhere. Then I wish I didn't care. Oh, you've been everywhere. I wish I didn't care.
Makes me argue just to see
Sing it.
how much you're in love with me.
See
Feel like a queen upon her throne. Was the
Sweetest
thing I've known.
Thank y'all for tuning in once again to the Remix Morning Show. We will check y'all out tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It will be on again. We out of here. Peace.